Okay, now I want you to be clear. Where did you get this CPN number from?
Where did I get it from?
Where did you get this number from?
A guy named Pascal. I got his email in my Gmail. It's Pascal Global LLC or something like that.
Something like that. Now, I want you to tell me now, because I'm looking at a number that you just gave me, and let me ask you now, how did you get our number? Because I want to know how did you find us to
Okay,
see?
so basically, with my CPN, I was started doing research and I learned about the CPN. I came across a YouTube video of some guy named Pascal. He had his number up there. So I called him, grilled him about all the questions that I know about, what CPNs are and da 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 da. I asked him a bunch of questions and I was satisfied with the answer he gave me. So I sent him a payment of 150, or actually I paid 200 through PayPal, and 2 or 3 days later, he emailed me a CPN number. It said Brandon Whitby. He told me to get an address that I've never used before, and so the CPN that he gave me was Brandon Whitby. I gave him the address that I had, and the number that was in that, what he sent me, was 502-3586-19. It came with instructions. The first instruction was to go to Capital One Auto Finance and apply. You would be denied. They would create a new file. He had a whole. I got the emails right now. So
Okay, now your name is not, what is this? Name Hoing Ching.
no, I'm not Chinese at all. My name is Brandon Whitby.
Okay, now you do know the number that he gave you. Give me that CPN number one more time, just so I can make sure that I got the right number.
502-358619.
And you swear to God, because I just did a video series on people calling with bad CPNs, and you're probably calling me to say, hey, you want trade lines or something, or what was the reason? What was the reason why you called anyway about this number? Did you want trade lines, or you just felt you had a bad number, or what was the problem?
The reason why I called in is because, a little bit while ago, I went to they have like this thing called an SSN checker. So I just wanted to see, the validity of my CPN. I wanted to see if the guy, because I was reading stuff about people that give people, dead people CPNs and child CPNs. So I wanted to run my CPN number that he gave me to see if that was the case. So when I ran it, it didn't say that it had a master death file. It just said that the Social Security number was out of North Dakota. That's all it told me, so that's all I knew. The reason that I'm calling now is because I was okay to get a cold card and a Capital One credit card, but other things I get flagged for, and they want extra identity information. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. Is there something wrong with the CPN? That's why I called you.
Okay. Yeah, because to be honest with you, when you gave me the number, I was like, wow, I can't believe that, what it is. To be honest with you, I get calls like this every single day. That's why I felt it was important for me to
So
put
in
that
other
out
words,
there.
you thought I was BSing you.
I thought you was completely bullshitting me. I'm not even gonna lie, cause I said to myself, cause I said, what's the number? Cause you said, well, I got a bad CPN. A lot of people try to call and pick my brain and get free information. Then I said, well, what's the number that you gave me? And you gave me the 50235, blah blah blah. And then when I had pulled
Dude,
it,
I've even pulled up credit reports using that number. I can send you credit reports that I pulled up using this CPN number that show a credit report for Brandon Whitby.
unbelievable, because when I pulled it through our safe scan checker, which like I said, I don't do this for free, but sometimes I pay the $42 to pull the report because I'm interested just to see what's out there and see what's happening. So I pay the $42. It's kind of like an educational thing for me, so it keeps me abreast. But when I see a person that's obviously not you with all their addresses and all that kind of stuff, and then the first thing I see is it's not you. The second thing I see is a big fat caution sign. So then I see a big caution sign, and then I know I'm talking to a guy who sounds black. So I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Chinese guy, caution, black guy, saying this is a social security number. And then, like I said, if y'all just left my bank today. I was in there for about an hour and a half, and I was sitting there thinking that if you walked into my bank and then you showed up with this number sitting in front of me, bankers always sit in front of you face to face, but they had their computers, the little screen tilted so you can't see it. You can't see their screen. Okay, but if you gave me this number that you gave me, and then the first thing that popped up was a big caution sign, then I can clearly see a name that's not you, Then it's
Right.
giving me addresses that's not yours. Couple, are you in Indiana or are you in North Dakota?
Either or.
Okay.
I actually live in Texas.
Okay, you're in Texas. So you're in Texas, you're in a bank in Texas, probably. That's where you probably would show up. Then you got an Indiana and North Dakota address, and you're a black guy. Now, what did I tell you before you cut? I sent you this. I sent you a copy of this report. I told you that I would probably do what?
Call the police.
Exactly. That's exactly what I probably would do. I probably would call the police because I know for a fact that this is not your number. And whoever sold it to you gave you a number that I know for a fact is not going to get you credit. It's not going to get you an approval. It has a big fat caution that's on this, that's baked into this number with another person's identity, and you are not the person. So that's one strike, that's two strikes, and then by you being a whole different person, that equivocates to three strikes. So that's why we're trying to like put the word out there, you know what I'm saying? And it just got me to a point where I'm like, you know what, this is something I really need to share because this type of stuff can get you in trouble.
And one more thing, I'd like to thank you a whole lot because I was actually, with this CPN, I was able to get a Capital One card and a Kohl's card, and I was actually getting ready to get my girl one too. So that's another reason why I called. I was like, well, maybe I'll try a little something different because, I was going through your website. You guys were talking about how it's already tri-merged, and you guys do this thing with 411 and Lexus check and all that type of stuff. So that's another reason why I called too. So I'm glad that you let me know this because shit.
Yeah, because we call ourselves legal CPN for a reason because A, when you buy a CPN number, A, you should buy it with a caution. B, you shouldn't buy it that's attached to somebody's name. C, you shouldn't buy a number that's literally getting you steps away from going into the wrong place and going to jail. So, because that's what this is. This is, literally going to the wrong place and, and going to jail. So that's.
Okay, I understand that now. How do I get a legal CPN and stop using this bullshit?
Well, you can just go right to the website and purchase a tri-merge CPN. So if you don't know how to set up one, buy one that's already set up, a tri-merge CPN. So something that's, going to come back, everything's going to be done for you. And you don't have to worry about buying a number from somebody who obviously sold you something that either he sold to somebody else or he pulled it out of thin air because A, it's a transition group number. That's why the caution is there because I could tell by the dates it was released. A lot of people, they sell these numbers that he's trying to pull from a place like North Dakota because he feels that it's a low population of people up there, so therefore he grabs a number that's supposedly unused or unassigned by drawing from a certain data pool. It's not going to have somebody there, okay? But that's not how it works. So by him shooting the dice with your CPN number, he's really shooting the dice with your with your life because you could turn around and get caught up and then somebody call the police on you and you're going to jail.
Right.
Exactly. And that's exactly what can happen because he turned around and gave you a number that's clearly somebody else. Right. So, but yeah, I'm happy you called. I know you happy you called. So, so at this point, we pretty much invested about $40 into helping you out. But at the same time, it's worth it because we gained you as a customer. We went that extra step for you. We actually trying to help people and inform people.
Okay. Hold on a second. My partner's interested as well. He wants to ask you a couple questions. We're actually on the site now.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes,
hey,
sir.
How you doing? My name's Travis. Now, as far as with the CPNs, do you do your regular social or is it just CPNs?
Yeah, we add trade lines to SSNs, CPNs, EINs, ITINs. Just depends on the name of the business. We have added trade lines to people that's new to the country. So, Spanish people, Indians. So, people that need credit on their profile to boost their scores.
Okay, so with the different packages, as far as like I see the silver SCN package with tri-merged instructions. That's
just like a gold level CPN, except for it gives you the instruction of telling you exactly what you need to do. So it's a pretty detailed. It has fully itemized and detailed instructions on what you can do. If you got a basic knowledge of CPN and know what you need to do or know what to do, you'll be able to fill in the blanks really good, and it's going to give you a roadmap on what to do. If you say, hey, I ain't got time for it, just do it the right way. I got bigger fish to fry. I know what I'm trying to do. Do it for me. That's a goal level. If you don't need instructions at all, just give me a number that I know is going to be something that's going to be of a good age. That's something that's not going to throw a big caution on my profile. Then at that point, we can, you can buy like a $79 CPM.
Okay, so if I got the gold package, you would do everything.
That's pretty much a do everything process, exactly.
All right, and that's a 2 to 3 day delivery. So what do you mail it?
That's an email. You would get an email to you.
Okay, and this CPN wouldn't be the same as the one my partner has here.
Of course not. It'll be your own separate number. Exactly. So we actually offer guarantees on our number, guarantees against cautions, guarantees against death master files, guarantees against prior or current usage, guarantees against multiple identities, which is the next step beyond somebody's there. There's 2 or 3 people there. Like on this particular CPA, he bought somebody's clearly on his profile. So that's not a good number, and that's the point. That's my biggest issue. That's my concern, is because if you walk into a bank and you show a number that's got somebody's name that's not yours, you black and they Chinese, you in Texas, they in North Dakota or Indiana, the next step is somebody's going to take you, that's you with the funny ugly face, and they're going to call the police on you, and that's because you got 2 or 3 strikes, and they know it's something suspicious there, and they might just say it's fraudulent.
They're gonna cover themselves,
and they want you to go and explain it, because at the end of the day, they can care less, because they say, well, hey, you the one that came in here with the 2 or 3 strikes right off the bat, and you the one that's gonna have to go and explain it. So you go with them and you explain what you doing, but as of right now, you ain't getting no credit.
Now, as far as identification, do I need to use a new address?
When setting up a CPN, any address that's not on your current credit profile is a good address to use for a CPN. That's pretty much always have been the rules of law with CPN, and it's been there since the 60s, and it still remains true. It's just the way the credit bureau systems work. So yeah, any address that's not on your current credit profile is a good CPN address, and that's a true statement that you just made.
Oh, okay. So as long as it's just something address that I haven't used in my credit before, then I'm okay.
Exactly, and then we go to legal CPN, because we're going to guarantee that you're going to have a good start on a CPN number that's not going to have cautions, that's not going to have name use, that's not going to throw big red flags that can get you arrested, for lack of a better word, because it's not you.
Can I ID card with the CPN, or should I just use my regular ID?
You should use your regular ID, because you are who you are. You are yourself. So of course, you just have, when you go back to our website and you see our CPN's legal section, you see that when you click on that link and it takes you to the FBI's website, their website clearly states that you can use a number. They use the language, you can use a number in lieu of your Social Security number for credit reporting purposes. They do list some exceptions that you must, there's a legal word, you must supply your SSN, and they list those exceptions. And they also they actually kind of go out of their way to explain to you that you are responsible for your debts. You say you got a Kohl's card, you say you got a Capital One card on this, you are responsible for those debts. It's just that when you use these numbers, yeah, you might can slide here, slide there, and get approved, because they're not using certain software to verify their applicants. They might just be looking at score, or they might just see a new profile and say, okay, give them the low-end card. But there are a lot of people that use the cross verification system, which they're verifying your ID. A lot of the major banks are using that, and I think really soon they're all going to use that, because they're going to catch all of those caution profiles, which I would predict is probably ranging to 60 to 70, 80% of people that's using CPNs because they don't know better. They're too lazy to go get a quality CPN, or they just don't know. And they get themselves caught up with buying a bad CPN, which is troubling because you get caught with this thing. It's really tough to explain it. And and we sell CPNs, and I would have a hard time explaining why you have something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everything is making sense here as far as the information you're giving. Now, with the gold package, this CPN doesn't have any trade lines or anything. It's just already approved with the 3 different credit bureaus.
Yes, but you will have to do your final submission as far as your income verification, but all that information comes with your purchase. So once you make your purchase, 2 or 3 business days later, you get an email with your CPN, and it does come with detailed steps what you do, how to apply for your EIN, which is real important to have with a CPN. You want to attach it. It tells you what to do next, and for the most part, after you read through the what to do next portion, then you move on to season trade lines, and you can move into bigger and stronger approvals without the cautions and running through the drag net of you need to give this and so on and so forth and blah 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 blah.
So as far as what would your advice be for me to take the steps? Because what I'm trying to do is get, of course, funding. Because me and my business partner, we have a business together, a couple of them, and so for the most part, I want to get a CPN, but what are the extra steps that I need to take with you to solidify that CPN, so that way I would be able to get some type of loan funding and whatnot?
Easy, just follow the steps that comes with your CPN. The CPN, we don't sell CPNs. Here go your number in a dark alley and run away with a mask or a face. You get instructions on how to set up as a business in a way that you can set your CPN up as a legal CPN. Period. There is a real word called legal CPN, and they got illegal CPNs like the one you showed me is pretty much an illegal CPN with you using it with somebody else's name and a caution. That's kind of like a big bad no-no. But you get instructions on what to do next, and then me personally listening to a lot of my affiliates, because I talk to a couple hundred people a day, which kills my voice, but this is my job. So by me talking to a couple hundred people a day, I talk to a lot of people that do funding and so on and so forth for their clients, and you really need to do trade line. You really need to get a score on your CPN, and once you have a score, then it's going to, if you got a $300, what did you get, a $300 or $500 Capital One card?
I got a $300 Capital One.
That's the starter card. So if you would have added trade lines, you would have been somewhere in the ballpark of $3,000 to $5,000. That's the starter card on a 725, 750 credit score, and we've seen approvals as high as 33,000. Okay, but when you're getting a $300 card, you've already burnt your CPN another way. So technically you've actually worked on a third X, because who wants $300? It's like you spend $500 to get back $3, and then you brand your profile at $300 or $500. Then everybody else who sees it, they're going to follow suit, and then you might get $1,000 because somebody really likes you, but that's you branded yourself at a certain level, and that can be a problem.
And see, for the most part, that's what my business partner was running into the problems with, as far as getting approvals. The CPN that started out good, he had a high score and whatnot, but for the most part, everything that he was trying to do required verification, in which put a red flag for him as far as the different things that he wanted to do with it, because he wasn't as secure with it anymore,
Exactly.
So all right, I'm ready to pay for mine. I'll pay for mine right now. But the next question I wanted to ask, so once I get the CPN, how much is it for the trade lines?
Trade lines, you're going to end up on our mailing list, but you can get a trade line for a blank CPN to take you to 725, 740 for around $400. A couple of trade lines, we got them pretty much marked for our resellers, which you can get a combo at $650, $700, which is about $350 a card, which is a decent card, and you really can't beat that. So, but let's play baseball. The first thing first is get a good CPN that you can make your own. That's the first step. Second step is get it back, and then do your tri-merge, and then do your final step. Your third step is to add seasoned trade lines so you get away from those low ball approvals, $300 and $500. Then you come home with it and with stronger approvals. So let's do this. Go over to the website, make the purchase for the Tri-Merge CPN. Today is Tuesday. You should get it back by Friday from our processing department or our processor. At that point, give me a call back on Friday. We talk about seasoned trade lines and then take you in a good, safe direction with your CPN and trade line.
Your name again?
Jason.
Thanks a lot, Jason. I'm on here now. Where do I go? Shop card?
You can go to the second, the little blue button right next to the first one that says purchase your CPN.
Oh, all right. I see it. I'm going to check. I just hit check out.
You can go to checkout too, and then scroll down to the gold level, and it'll take you to the same location. Actually, it's a different page, but you can check out from that location as well. Just scroll down past the bronze, past the silver, and go to the gold level CPN area.
Okay, you got a coupon code for me?
Do not. I wish I did. I know you do. But hey, give me a call back Friday after you get that CPN, and I'm definitely happy I was able to help you out.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take care. You got it.